Senate in the first regular session of the 20th Congress is hereby called to order. Senator Win Gatchalian will lead the chamber in prayer.
Let's bow our heads and pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift and the privilege to gather in this chamber and serve the Filipino people. We ask for your guidance as we fulfill our duties. Remind us always that our work must aim towards the highest good and the improvement of the daily lives of our countrymen. Panginoon, turuan mo ang aming puso. Turuan mo kaming makinig sa isa't isa, sa hamon ng panahon at sa daing ng taong bayan. Lalo na ngayon, habang tinatapos namin ang pambansang budget. Bigyan mo po kami ng karunungan. Dalangin naming lahat na ang budget sa taong 2026 ay maging susi sa paglaban sa kahirapan, sa pagbukas ng pintuan ng kaunlaran para sa lahat, at sa pagtataguyod ng kapayapaan. Teach us your ways each day so that we grow to be the best versions of ourselves and never lose sight of your will. This we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Session is suspended. The Secretary, please call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senator Aquino, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Escudero, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lacson, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcoleta, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Tulfo Erwin, Senator Tulfo Rafi, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Camille, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri. The Senate President is present.
With 16 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before we discuss the agenda of the day, Mr. President, we'd just like to greet our guests. From the office of Senator Jingo Estrada, we have Vice Mayor Alvin Villar, Tuita of David, Negros Oriental. This must be Darwin. And Councilor Jojo Chong, Tangub City, and Councilor Rolmulo Del Socorro of Tangub City by request of Senator Bam Aquino. And we also have Isangguniang Panglungsod of Butuan headed by City Vice Mayor Reynante Desiata. And we'd like to also recognize my wife who's here as well.
Yes, earlier the wife of the Majority Leader was here without the Majority Leader.
Earlier than me, Mr. President. My apologies. Mr. President, I move that we defer the approval of the journal of the 30th session, Tuesday, December 2, 2025. So moved.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move
Order
that
is
we,
approved.
thank you, Mr. President. I move that we proceed with the reference of business.
Reference of business.
Bills on first reading, Senate number 1504, an act fixing the validity period of certificates of registration of motor vehicles, amending for the purpose Section 5, paragraphs A and B, and Section 14 of RA 4136, the Land Transportation and Traffic Code, Senator Villar C.
Referred to the Committee on Public Services.
Senate number 1505, an act enhancing accessibility in the voting of senior citizens, persons with disabilities, pregnant women, and indigenous peoples, amending for the purpose RA 10366, an act authorizing the Commission on Elections to establish precincts assigned to accessible polling places exclusively for persons with disabilities and senior citizens, and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Villar C.
To the Committees on Electoral Reforms, Social Justice, and Finance.
Senate number 1514, an act requiring foreign bidders and contract awardees of official development assistance funded projects to employ Filipino workers in their development projects, further amending RA 8182 as amended by RA 8555 and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committee on Economic Affairs.
Senate number 1515, an act organizing the nasyonal na federasyon ng Sangguniang Kabataan and providing for membership of its elected president in the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, amending sections 21 and 22 of RA 10742, otherwise known as the Sangguniang Kabataan Reform Act of 2015, Senator Gatchalian.
To the Committees on Local Government and Youth.
Senate number 1516, anak upgraded the Apayri Provincial Hospital in the Municipality of Apayri, Province of Cagayan, into a Level 2 General Hospital to be known as the Apayri Medical Center, placing it under the direct supervision and control of the Department of Health, increasing its bed capacity to 100 beds, upgrading its professional healthcare services and facilities, authorizing the increase of its medical personnel and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committee on Rules.
Senate number 1517, an act requiring the employment of qualified lifeguards in all public swimming pools and bathing facilities and providing penalties for violation thereof, Senator Gatchalian.
To the Committees on Health and Local Government.
Senate number 1518, an act modifying the grounds for substitution of candidates, amending Section 77 of BP 881, Series of 1985, otherwise known as the Omnibus Election Code, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committee on Electoral Reforms.
Senate number 1519, an act strengthening the electoral process by expanding the circumstances to be considered a nuisance candidate and making it an election offense, imposing administrative sanctions and criminal penalties and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committee on Electoral Reforms.
Senate number 1520, an act establishing a legal scholarship and return service program for deserving students and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Higher Education, Justice, and Finance.
Senate number 1521, an act promoting rural agricultural technology access and innovation through a national support program for farmers and youth and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture, Science and Technology, Ways and Means, and Finance.
Senate number 1522, an act amending Section 148 of the National Internal Revenue Code to allow for the automatic suspension of excise taxes on regular gasoline, unleaded premium gasoline, and diesel, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committee on Ways and Means.
Senate number 1523, an act requiring the use of plain language in all government-issued public advisories, notices, announcements, and similar documents intended for public dissemination and distribution, Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Civil Service and Public Information.
Senate number 1524, an act strengthening the Philippine Coast Guard by introducing policy and organizational reforms, Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Public Services, National Defense, Ways and Means, and Finance.
Resolution, proposed Senate Resolution 172, honoring and commending the heroism of J. Boy Magdadaro, a 15-year-old from Barangay Jubay, Liloan, Cebu, for rescuing over 50 people during the onslaught of Typhoon Tino, Senator Lapid.
To the Committee on Rules, there is additional reference of business.
Additional reference of business resolutions. Proposed Senate Resolution 173, commending and congratulating Filipino pool player Jonas Magpantay for winning the championship title at the Qatar 10-Ball World Cup held in Doha, Qatar, Senator Go.
To the Committee on Rules,
Resolution number 174, commending and congratulating the Philippine Ultimate Frisbee team for winning 2 gold medals at the 2025 Asia Oceanic Ultimate Championship held in Kamisu City, Japan, Senator Go.
to the Committee on Rules,
Resolution 175, commending and congratulating Filipina Jiu-Jitsu star Kimberly Ann Custodio for winning the gold medal in the adult female 45 kilogram division at the 2025 IJJF World Jiu-Jitsu Championship held in Bangkok, Thailand, Senator Go.
to the Committee on Rules,
Resolution 178, urging the national government to effect immediate evacuation, relocation, and provision of emergency assistance to communities affected by flash floods and landslides, and directing relevant government agencies and local government units to undertake urgent and coordinated response measures, Senator Padilla.
to the Committees on Defense and Local Government,
Resolution 179, resolution to conduct an investigation in aid of legislation into the abuse and misuse of government-issued identification documents and visas that enable foreign actors such as Joseph C. to circumvent Philippine laws and policies to engage in illicit activities, including business operations or malign influence and foreign interference, Senator Ontiveros.
to the Committee on Justice,
Resolution number 180, directing the Senate Committee on Accountability of Public Officers and Investigations to conduct an investigation in aid of legislation into the alleged misuse and weaponization of letters of authority by the personnel of the Bureau of Internal Revenue as a money-making scheme and other systematic abuses with the end view of recommending reforms to strengthen transparency, fairness, and accountability in tax administration, Senator Tulfo E.
to the Committee on Accountability of Public Offices,
Resolution 181 urging the Department of Education in coordination with other relevant agencies to conduct a comprehensive assessment of the structural integrity of public school buildings nationwide in light of the threat of major earthquakes and other natural calamities, Senator Tulfo E.
to the Committees on Basic Education and Public Works,
Resolution 182 directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the status of the implementation of RA 10929, otherwise known as the Free Internet Access in Public Places Act, with the end in view of ensuring effective program delivery and promoting equitable digital access across the country, Senator Tulfo E.
to the Committee on Science and Technology,
Proposed Senate Resolution 183 directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the prevalence of online child selling, with the end in view of strengthening child protection laws and its enforcement, Senator Tulfo E.
to the Committee on Women,
Resolution 184 directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on strengthening digital resiliency of government websites, with the end in view of investigating vulnerabilities and incidents of hacking and identifying measures to enhance cybersecurity, intrusion prevention, and overall digital resiliency, Senator Tulfo E.
Committee on Science and Technology,
Resolution 185 directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the status, funding, implementation, and impact of the construction of farm-to-market roads nationwide, with the end in view of ensuring transparency, efficiency, accountability, effective use of public funds, and equitable access to agricultural infrastructure, Senator Tulfo E.
to the Committees on Agriculture and Public Works,
Resolution 186 directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry on the implementation of laws to protect the rights of persons with disabilities, to strengthen policies toward a barrier-free environment for persons with disabilities, Senator Tulfo E.
to the Committee on Social Justice, Majority Leader,
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, our distinguished colleague from the province of Isabela and Davao would like to avail of the privilege hour. May I recognize the distinguished gentleman, Senator Raffy Tulfo.
Senator Raffy Tulfo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I speak before you today on a matter of personal and collective privilege. Today is International Day of Disabled Persons. I did not realize this until this morning, but it seems that the universe intended for me to deliver this privileged speech today to open our eyes to what families with disabled children are going through. Mr. President, last week, during the budget plenary debates for DSWD, while looking into some social welfare concerns of our people, I had an enlightening discussion with the budget sponsor, Senator Pia Cayetano, regarding programs for children with disability, particularly those with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, autism, hearing impairment, visual impairment, speech disorder, and orthopedic ADHD, among others. During the session, I commended the DSWD program entitled Project Aruga, a community-based project which provides disability-inclusive social protection for children with disability and their families to address substantial unmet needs and offer comprehensive social service. Basically, this program gives disability support allowance in the amount of 2,000 pesos per month, given through a one-time 10,000 pesos allowance. Project Aruga had 400 beneficiaries in 2025 and a budget targeted to 1,200 beneficiaries for 2026 with a budget of 44 million pesos. After some discussion and with the support of the budget sponsor, I push for a higher budget for this program. I'm hoping that the budget for Project Aruga will be given an increase of 40 million pesos. This will double the original budget and allow them to reach more beneficiaries and give higher financial support. Agad kong nai-report ito sa ating mga kababayan. Madami po ang natuwa sa mas mataas na allowance dahil may ibsan talaga ang kanilang financial shortage. But it seems that there are still more urgent concerns that need to be tackled to give them meaningful support and care. Raising a child with disability. Mr. President, I was flooded with heartbreaking stories from our people when I posted about Project Aruga. I was able to get a clearer picture of what families with disabled children go through. Sa simula pa lang, when parents begins to notice some developmental issues with the children, hirap na po silang makakuha ng tamang diagnosis at medical confirmation of what their children are going through. Karamihan sa kanila inaakala na may kahinaan lang ang kanilang anak o masamang ugali kaya napapalo nila ang mga ito. Yung pala, may mental condition ng bata na di nila agad nalaman. There is a lack of education for parents regarding signs to look out for if their children has mental disabilities and they do not have access to medical centers that could evaluate their children. Once diagnosed, the next problem would be the availability of developmental pediatricians and speech, occupational, physical, and developmental therapy centers for early intervention for the children. The first 3 years are a critical time for development, and early intervention can have a significant and lasting impact on a child's ability to learn. It could reduce or possibly eliminate the need for future support. Kaya importante po ang early intervention. Pero kulang po ang ating mga centers. Next comes the cost of raising children with disabilities. In a study conducted by the UNICEF and DSWD in 2022, which included a nationally representative quantitative survey and qualitative in-depth interviews, it was found that a child with disabilities spends 40 to 80% more than other children without disabilities. And poverty rates are 50% higher in households with children with disabilities. This is not surprising because apart from the increase in medical and living expenses, families are also faced with reduced income because of the need for an able-bodied family member to stay at home and look after the disabled child. Ang nanay o tatay na kaya sana magtrabaho para sa pamilya ay kinakailangang manatili sa bahay para alagaan ang bata. Kaya nababawasan po ang income ng pamilya. Finally, every single day parents of disabled children worry about the future. Sabi nga ng ilan sa kanila, ang unang pumasok sa isip nila sa sandaling malaman na may kapansanan ang kanilang anak ay kung anong mangyayari pa pag wala na sila. Some parents even wish na kung pwede isama na lang nila ang kanilang anak kung sakaling may mangyari sa kanila. Ito po ang sinabi ng ilang mga magulang akin po nakausap, nag-communicate po sa aking social media accounts. Dahil kadalasan ang magulang lang ang tunay na nagmamalasakit ang mag-aalaga sa mga persons with disability pagtanda nila. Mahirap ipasa sa iba, lalo na kung wala namang pera para magbayad sa mag-aalaga na di makakasiguro na alagaan ng maayos ang may kapansanan. After hearing all this, nangliit po talaga ako sa binibigay na ayuda ng ating gobyerno sa mga children with disability na 10,000 pesos. Hindi na ito nalalayo sa 500 pesos na pang Noche Buena. Nakapang liit at nakapang insulto na tulong kung tutusin po. Mr. President, there are programs conducted by the DSWD to the National Council on Disability Affairs. They even have the DARE program or Developmental Assistance Rehabilitation Empowerment, a caravan for children with disability which aims to bridge the gaps in accessing developmental assessment. Meron din pong PhilHealth subsidies pamagitan ng mandatory PhilHealth coverage for PWDs. And we have various laws such as Magna Carta for disabled persons, which provide 20% discounts and privileges for PWDs. Nandiyan din po ang PWD Affairs Office Act, which compels every LGU to have a PDAO or focal person to plan, coordinate, and resource PWD programs locally, including referrals to education, health, and social care facilities. Unfortunately, these programs are not enough. Una, marami po sa ating mga children with disability ang hindi pa nakakakuha ng disability ID card. Hirap silang makakuha, kaya naman dito napapakinabangan ng mga nasa laylayan ng ating lipunan at mga nasa malalayong lugar. In the 2022 study conducted by UNICEF and DSWD, it seems that only 1 out of 5 children with disabilities have a PWD card. And most of these come from the higher income bracket. Ganun pa rin pa po ba hanggang ngayon? Marahil kailangan natin silipin kung napapakinabangan ba itong mga programa ito ng ating mga mahihirap na kababayan. Pangalawa, may batas tayo na ipinasa na Regional Specialty Centers Act which mandates the establishment of specialty healthcare centers. Sa ngayon, may 2 DOH Children's Hospital pa lang at pareho ay nasa Metro Manila at may 4 na LGU Children's Hospital. Ang hirap talaga para sa mga kababayan natin na malayo sa mga lugar na ito upang magkaroon ng regular na therapy para sa kanilang anak. Magastos ang pamasahe at walang matutuluyan tuwing sila ay pupunta dito sa Manila. Sa katunayan, may tinutulungan po akong foundation, ang Little Ark Foundation, na nagbibigay ng free board and lodging para sa mga cancer patients ng National Children's Hospital. Kasi nga po, di natatapos ng mga bata ang kanilang mga chemotherapy dahil wala naman sila pong matutuluyan dito sa Metro Manila. Ganyan din ang sitwasyon ng mga children with disability kapag malayo sa kanila ang mga therapy centers. Hindi consistent o hindi na lang talaga tumutuloy. Finally, we have the exodus of medical professionals and teachers that could address the concerns of our less fortunate children with disabilities. It is hard to maintain a pool of professionals because they're not adequately compensated. Talagang pagiging bayani na ang magsilbi para sa mga mahirap na kababayan na may disability. But we cannot deny medical professionals the opportunity of a better income for their own families. And also, I would like to propose some crucial policies that we can look into as an adjustment for existing laws. 1, the DOH needs to increase its efforts to maintain consolidated database of disabled children. Ang daming nagsasabi tuwing hihingi sila ng tulong, paulit-ulit silang nagsasubmit ng mga requirements. Kaya dumadagdag sa gastos nila ang pabalik-balik. Complete and improved registry could then be the basis for the planning of services for these children. This registry should be available across agencies to recognize the right to health insurance and PhilHealth services. 2, PhilHealth needs to increase the health packages, including access to assistive devices for people with disabilities and extending the network of accredited facilities and service providers. 3, there is a need to intensify training for medical professionals that could provide interventions and increase guidance counselors and special education teaching assistants. We have to ensure that these professionals are well compensated. We should also provide training for the stay-at-home caregiver so that some form of early intervention could be conducted at home. Or, working on what Project Aruga started, we could look into adjusting the eligibility assessment and financial support to children with disabilities in programs that are time-tested already. Eligibility assessment should factor the extra cost of raising children with disabilities and recognize the higher poverty levels of these children and their households. For poor families with children with disabilities, the level of support should also increase to include the extra cost faced by these households. Conclusion. Mr. President, children with disability enter this world at a disadvantage, and so it is up to us to provide them with the means to be able to take care of themselves. Ang realidad po talaga ay habang sila ay bata, nandyan ang kanilang mga magulang upang alagaan sila. Pero darating pong araw na kailangan nila tulungan ang sarili nila. Otherwise, there'll be the responsibility of the government. And like so many things, early intervention is the key. That is why disability to make it on their own is the best cure to their disability. I also wish to highlight that I have filed the autism bill under the 20th Congress, SBN number 1430, an act instituting a comprehensive national care to encourage cooperation, accountability, and research for the education and support to persons with autism and for other purposes. This measure reflects our commitment to institutionalizing long-term support, research, and coordinated care for persons with autism and their families. It is my hope that this legislation, together with strengthened programs across our social welfare and health agencies, will push our government toward a more inclusive and equitable future for all our children with disabilities. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, thank you so very much po for listening, and I hope for everyone's support regarding this matter. Magandang hapon po.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, our distinguished colleague, Senator
Yes, Majority
Erwin
Leader.
Tulfo would like to interpolate our distinguished sponsor of the privilege speech.
As Senator Irvin Tulfo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. President. I do not wish to interpolate. Rather, I would just like to express my support for Senator Rafi Tulfo's privileged speech, calling for increased funding and stronger government attention for families raising children with disabilities, Mr. President. Napakahalaga po ng panawagan ito dahil araw-araw marami pong pamilyang Pilipino na may mga bata o may mga anak na may disability ay nahihirapang mag-access ng therapy, medical care, inclusive education at iba pang serbisyong kritikal para sa pangangailangan ng naturang mga bata, Mr. President. Children with disabilities deserve not only understanding but real and sustained support. Kailangan po nila, Mr. President, na maayos na early intervention program, accessible healthcare, inclusive learning opportunities, at sapat na tulong pinansyal para matugunan ang kanilang pangangailangan sa araw-araw, Ginoong Pangulo. Para naman sa mga magulang at caregivers, malaking bagay po ang pagkakaroon ng suporta mula sa pamahalaan upang hindi sila mag-isa sa kanilang laban. The call raised by Senator Tulfo, Mr. President, is both timely and necessary. Sa pagtutok natin sa mga batang may kapansanan, ipinapakita nating seryoso po tayo sa pagbuo ng isang bansang tunay na inklusibo at makatao. Isang Pilipinas kung saan walang batang maiiwan dahil lamang po sa kanyang kondisyon o kapansanan. I stand in solidarity with this advocacy and urge our institutions to act with empathy, urgency, and long-term commitment. Para po sa ating mga anak, para sa kanilang kinabukasan, kailangan nating kumilos ngayon na, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po at magandang hapon.
Senator Robin Padilla is recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo at sa ating pinunong mayorya. Ako po'y sumusuporta sa atin pong kapatid na senador, Senator Rafi Tulfo, sapagkat ito pong patungkol po sa mga special children. Ito po'y pinag-aralan po natin ng matagal dahil sila po ay kasama po doon sa tinatawag natin na meron pong mga epilepsy, meron pong ADHD, mga cerebral palsy. Yan po ay matagal po natin yung pinag-aralan at ito po talaga ay nangangailangan ng atensyon. Nangangailangan po ito ng pag-aaral pa kung ano po yung mga tamang medisina din na dapat pong ibigay sa kanila. Kaya ito po yung napakagandang pangmumulat po sa ating lahat sapagkat ito po talaga sa panahon na ito, hindi lamang po sa Pilipinas, kundi sa buong mundo, lalo na po sa mga progresibong bansa. Meron na pong mga pag-aaral dito kung paano po ito haharapin. Kaya maraming salamat po sa inyo, Idol. Mabuhay po.
Thank you. Thank you,
Senator Joel Villanueva is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleague. May we know if the good gentleman from Isabela and Davao would yield to just some clarificatory questions, Mr. President?
Yes, sir. Anytime.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. At the onset, may I just put on the record my sincerest thanks and gratitude and put into the records of this August Chamber my support to the good gentleman for his passion and dedication to really help our kababayans with special needs. Mr. President, I've been a member of the Senate for quite some time, and I have yet to disclose the fact that this representation is a father of a special kid, Mr. President. This is the first time I'm disclosing it, Mr. President, and I'd like to thank the gentleman for his efforts and his desire to help our children with disabilities, Mr. President. Marami yung kailangan pang gawin. Personal experience, yung hirap, sakripisyo, at yung challenge, Mr. President, to have a special kid, Mr. President. So yung first question ko lang, Mr. President, if the good gentleman is aware of the previously passed law na pinasaho ng Kongreso, yung pong inclusive education. At ano po yung update kung meron man dito para matulungan yung ating mga kababayan with disability. Ang problema ho kasi lagi, syempre Mr. President, distinguished colleague, yung pondo, but at the same time yung challenge on how they're going to implement the law, Mr. President. I can see for the record the chairman of the Senate Committee on Education nodding his head. Because even, for example, if you wanted to put up a developmental center in a particular town, Mr. President, doon po sa poblasyon, kunyari, Mr. President. Tapos, yung mga kababayan po natin ay galing sa iba't ibang barangay. Ang lalayo po nila, Mr. President. So, hindi naman ho sila lahat makakapunta doon sa isang lugar ng poblasyon dahil una, wala nga silang pang tricycle patungo ho doon. But at the same time, siguro yung susunod na question ko po, pangalawang question is, gaano yung shortage na tinitignan natin when you talk about occupational therapists, speech therapists, etc., Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tama po kayo, kulang na kulang po yung mga professionals na para tumugon doon po sa mga pangailangan ng mga children with disabilities at kulang din po yung budget na nakalaan. In fact, maganda nga po yung during the budget hearing na suggestion is 10,000 per month one time. Kaya sabi ko dapat madagdagan yon. Ang isa sa mga dilema po ng mga parents, problema sa kanilang mga anak na may disability ay yung pong gastos, hindi lamang po sa therapy kasi ang therapy sinasagot na po yun ng PhilHealth. Bukod pa dyan, meron pong budget na inilaan po yung Project Aruga, ang DSWD, yung pong pamasahe at yung mga galing sa probinsya kasi wala naman po mga specialized centers na tumutugon po sa pag-care, treat, therapy and all doon sa mga children with disability. So pupunta po sila ng Maynila. Now, ang problema po pagdating sa Maynila, yung iba, halimbawa, bibigyan sila ng 1 week o 2 weeks program na para sila po ay magpa-therapy. Hindi na po tinatapos dahil wala po sila matutuluyan. That's why meron po akong foundation na tinutulungan, yung Little Arc Foundation. Marami po mga kwarto doon na pwedeng tumuloy yung mga bata na may disability after na sila po ay matreat sa Children's Hospital, and then kung kinakailangan mag-stay sila doon to 1 week, kompleto po, libre pagkain, libre asikaso, kami and all, kasama yung parents. Yun po yung isa sa mga bagay na mahalaga para sa akin. Kailangan pa natin na maraming mga matutuluyan ng mga bata at kasama yung kanilang magulang, yung mga galing probinsya kapag pumunta na Manila para sa treatment dahil kulang nga po talaga ang mga centers na tumutugon sa pangangailangan ng mga children with disabilities.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ang isang napakalaking challenge ay yung pong mga eksperto, doktor na tumitingin sa kanila. Mr. President, this is a personal experience. There are only two, you call that, developmental pediatrician, Mr. President, who is well known in the country, in the Philippines. It's Dr. Dimalanta of St. Luke's and Dr. Reyes of Makati Med, Mr. President. Only two, Mr. President. Pagka ho kayo ay hihingi ng appointment sa kanila, Mr. President, it takes about a year. 1 year, Mr. President, bago ka makakuha ng appointment. Kasi hindi po pwede yan na anytime kung ilan yung bata na titignan po nila, pwede. Hindi po eh. Ano yan, mayroon pong science na hindi nila pwedeng tignan kahit ilang bata na gusto nilang tignan. Dalawa lang po, uulitin ko, dalawa lang ho yung kakilala ko at talagang 1 taon bago kayo makakuha ng appointment. Doktor po yun, Mr. President. Assessment pa lang, Mr. President. Marami yung mga bata sa Pilipinas hindi na-assess that they're in the sphere of autism. Kaya ho napakalaking bagay nung autism awareness dahil akala nung iba ang autism ay sakit. Akala nung iba pag may autism hindi na mapapakinabangan. May mga magulang ho sa probinsya na nababalitaan natin, kinukulong po yung anak, pinapadlock, hindi ho pinapalabas ng bahay. Ang next po, Mr. President, is yung mga occupational therapists. Occupational therapists, Mr. President, in my own experience and just to research yung magagaling na occupational therapists, halos yung mga magagaling na occupational therapists nasa abroad na, Mr. President, dahil mas mataas yung sweldo doon at mas maganda yung magiging buhay nila kung sa ibang bansa. Hindi ko alam, Mr. President, if the gentleman would have a data as to how much or how many therapists we have, occupational therapists. Now you go to another thing, Mr. President, speech therapists, Mr. President. Napakakonti din po, Mr. President. Hindi ko po alam kung we have been doing our part every year to increase the number of speech therapists. Ganun din ho yung problema. So, Mr. President, I don't know if the gentleman can answer my question kung ngayon po may update po ba siya or anything na ilan ho yung shortage ng occupational therapist, ilan yung shortage ng speech therapist, at dun po sa pinapanukala ng ating kaibigan, Senator Raffy Tulfo, paano ho ito tutugunan? Ito pong shortage ng ating human resources ng pamahalaan, ng gobyerno para tugunan at i-address ang problema at challenges that we are facing in so far as special needs is concerned.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that very excellent observation. Tama ka talaga, tumpak na kulang tayo sa mga expert pediatrician na tumutugon po sa mga bata with special needs tulad ng mga children with disabilities. In fact, nabanggit mo, meron 2 na pediatrician na buwan bago ka makapag-appointment sa kanila. Pero meron naman din po sa Children's Hospital, sa mga ibang ospital, hindi naman siguro kasing galing nung nabanggit niyong 2 expert pediatricians. Meron pa rin naman siguro, meron naman tayo sa Children's Hospital and other hospitals. Kaya nga lang po, medyo may kamahalan at yung problema ay yung challenges ay pagpunta doon at pamasahe at pag-stay. Now, shortages, yes, you're right. Meron po. At again, tama rin po kayo na imbis na pakinabangan natin yung mga magagaling natin, mga pediatricians, mga physical therapists, occupational therapists, they tend to go abroad as opposed to staying here. Kasi nga po, mas malaking ang bayad doon sa abroad at hindi po competitive yung salary na kukuha nila dito. That's why pupunta sa ibang bansa. So that is something na dapat magkaroon ng programa ang ating pamalaan para tugunan yung issue yan na kung paano ma-hold natin yung mga experts, mga pediatricians na para makadagdag tulong sa pangailangan ng mga children with disabilities. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me just end by saying I am in full support of the measure that our good colleague is pushing. It is also important to again emphasize the need for us policymakers to look into this, the need to address the shortage of experts, developmental pediatricians, therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, etc., Mr. President, because this is very important, Mr. President. Yung mga kabataan natin, sinasabing pag-asa ng ating bayan, sabi ni Dr. Jose Rizal ng ating pambansang bayani, at naniniwala po tayo na yung mga kabataan ay hindi lang pag-asa ng bayan, kung hindi sila po yung may-ari ng kinabukasan. At tayo po bilang mga policymakers, I hope, Mr. President, that we can do better, Mr. President, for the next generation. And again, I thank the good gentleman from Isabela and Davao for this opportunity. Maraming salamat po, Ginong Puno. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Bam Aquino is recognized.
Yes, Mr. President, magandang araw. This is more of a manifestation of support and concern to our dear seatmate, the good gentleman from Isabela and Davao, Senator Raffy Tulfo. Unang-una po, itong issue ng ating mga children with disabilities ay nararapat na mailabas at maganda po na isa ito sa mga advokasya ng ating butihing senador. Nais ko lang pong banggitin sa plenaryo na doon po sa pag-aaral ng EDCOM, in the EDCOM 2 report, lumalabas na 1 out of every 5 students ay may kapansanan o merong concern na kailangan pong bigyan ng tamang pansin. No? So malaki po yung porsyento. In fact, we intend to look further into these numbers to find out kung gaano to katotoo o anong range ang pinag-uusapan. Kasi kung totoo po na 1 out of every 5 students in our DepEd schools ay may pangangailangang espesyal, ay talagang nakakabahala po yun, unang-una. Pangalawa, kung ikukumpara po natin ang pondo, ang infrastruktura, ang kakayanan na matulungan ang mga kabataang may special needs, kung ikukumpara po yun dun sa nakalaang tulong at budget, ay malayo po talaga. No? Marami pong mga magulang ang lumapit na rin po sa aming tanggapan at nagsasabi na wala silang ibang mapaglagyan ng kanilang mga anak na merong special needs. Hindi sapat ang facilities na binibigay ng gobyerno at kahit gusto po nilang yung iba po walang pambayad at nakaasa lang po talaga sa government facilities at kulang, yung mga gusto naman po magbayad, wala rin naman po mapuntahan. No? Yan po yung nabanggit kanina ni Senator Joel Villanueva. So nararapat po itong ma-raise and we will work, Mr. President, hand in hand with the good Senator as soon as we can reconvene our committee pagdating po sa mga children with special needs at mga estudyanteng may mga special needs, pwede po tayo magtulungan para mabigyan ng solusyon ang problemang ito at ang makahanap po tayo ng solusyon para po sa mga pamilya po nila. Yun lang po, Mr. President. And again, I would like to state my full support to what was raised today by our good seatmate and good friend and Senator from Isabela and Davao, Senator Raffy Tulfo. Maraming salamat, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader. Oh yes, Senator Loren Legardas recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to associate myself with the thoughts of the good sponsor, Senator Raffy Tulfo, as he commemorated and celebrated and brought us face to face with the glaring needs of our times which are not given priority. Ako po ay nagagalak na ito po ay dinala sa national conversation dahil ito po ay mahalagang parte ng ating lipunan na sa dami po na nangyayari ay maaring hindi natin nabibigyan po ng pansin. Nag-uusap lang po kami ni Senator Joel Villanueva tungkol sa ganito at kailangan natin ng mga mag-aaral ng psychology. At ito po sana ay maari pa nating ihabol sa budget. Nakita ko merong amendment, I think it was Senate President. And I recall even before pandemic when I was Chair of Finance, pinopondohan niya yung medical doctors ng mga scholars. I think it was your amendment. I saw an amendment yesterday na basta medical scholars. Sana maliban dyan ay yung mga nagsa-specialize sa psychology dahil kulang na kulang po yan. Pero when we talk about persons with disabilities, iba-iba yan eh. Iba syempre psychological, iba naman physical disability. At gusto ko lang po isaad and to put on record na meron tayong mga batas na ginawa ko po sa aking first term. Nandyan po ako nakaupo, katabi ko si Senator Juan Flavier na doktor. Ito po yung pag-check ng bata sa pagkapanganak, newborn screening. Ito po ay makakatulong kung malaman natin ng maaga kung may kapansanan ba. Hindi ko na matanto o maalala ngayon yung eksakto. I'll ask my staff because it was my first term. May pangalawa pa, newborn hearing screening. Sa pagdinig naman, at ito ay drinaft sa akin ni Dr. Charlotte Chong na ngayon ay Chancellor, I think, ng UP, PGH, UP Manila, na naipasa natin. The newborn screening, can you check the bill for me, the law? Newborn Screening Act of 2004. Tayo po ay nag-author nito with Senator Juan Flavier, Dr. Flavier. Ito ba ho'y napapatupad kaya? At ang siniscreen nito, i-check mo. Siniscreen nito, I think yung sa dugo ng bata, if I'm not mistaken, I'm having it checked. Tapos yung newborn hearing screening, ito naman po kung may kapansanan sa pagdidinig. Dahil may mga bata po na lumalaki, tas minsan nagagalit minsan ng magulang o yung mentor o what. Teka, sama ng ulo mo. Sabihin ganon. Or, bakit ka, hindi ka makarinig? But they do not realize that the child could be challenged or within autism sphere, pero ito pong binabanggit ko sa hearing screening ay may kapansanan sa pandinig. Kaya po tayo din ay tumulong sa UPPGH na merong po under the ear department para po sa hearing screen. Dalawang batas po ito. I bring it to the record. I'm not certain if the good sponsor will be able to answer it, whether these two laws are being implemented by DOH in all DOH retained hospitals, in all LGU hospitals. Kasi siniscreen po ito para malaman kung may kapansanan sila. Can you check the first screening, no? What does it Okay. The first, here, very good, Senator Risa, thank you. The first Newborn Screening Act, RA 92008. Buti pa Senator Risa, mabilis na binigay sa akin. Opo. I wrote this in 98, of course with my seatmate, Dr. Flavier. It establishes a national program for screening newborns for treatable genetic and metabolic disorders to prevent mental retardation. Kayang may prevent serious health complications and death by ensuring early detection and management of these conditions through a simple dugo lang, blood test performed within 24 to 70 hours after birth. I am grateful to Senator Risa Ontiveros for giving me this. She is even 10 times quicker than my younger
But the
staff from
question,
UP.
but the question, Mr. President,
Yes.
is it being done now?
Ginagawa ba ho ito? Dahil,
Yes. Ginagawa po ba yan?
ay, opo, yun po ang sagot nyo, ginagawa po at sinusunod po.
Ako po magtatanong sana kasi
Na,
kayo
yun
po
mo
lang
ang
pasa
gusto
ng
kong
batas.
malaman. This is a
Kasi napakaganda po niyan, ha? Napakagandang screening yung mga
Opo.
nabanggit nyo.
Yes, this was a bill I filed in 1998, enacted in 2004 with my mentor, Dr. Juan Flavier.
So meron pong blood test na
po,
kinukuha
yes,
doon sa baby para malaman kung may
retardation.
merong retardation at meron
Yes.
ibang problema. But is it being done by all hospitals across the board?
Dapat po, na italaga po ng batas 21 years ago, isang prick po ng blood, malalaman na po sa lahat ng pampublikong ospital.
Maybe sa private ginagawa po yan, siguro sa public. hindi.
Dapat pati sa private.
Yes.
At dapat sakop to ng PhilHealth.
Yes.
Dapat, yan. Newborn screening yan. Tapos, eventually, sa second term ko po, yung newborn hearing screening, ito naman po, yung may kapansanan po sa pagdinig. Yun. Yes. The name of the bill is the Universal Newborn Screening and Intervention Act. What is this? This is the second screening. This is for hearing. Yes. Yung pandinig po, 2009. But the first screening is for blood, not for hearing, but for mental retardation or other illnesses. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng metabolic? Maybe someone else can explain to me. So, my question, first, I commend you, Mr. Sponsor, for bringing this to the national conversation. Second, to ensure, sayang tapos na ang DOH interpellations. Nandyan ang chair, si Senator Pia, and all the advocates here, dapat pinapatupad ng ating pampublikong ospital, lalo naman ang mga pribado.
Yeah, sa ngayon, Mr. President, hindi po pinapatupad yan. Wala po ako narinig mula sa mga lumalapit sa akin para magtanong at magbigay ng inputs na it never been implemented from the get-go, simula nung maging batas siya.
I
So
recall,
maybe sa private, siguro choice yun, dagdag bayad, pero sa public, hindi po pinapatupad.
Will you
Hindi po kukunin
join
ng blood
me,
test.
Senator Tulfo, thank you for this. Will you join me in asking PhilHealth to mandate the free newborn screening and the
Yes.
newborn hearing screening
Yes.
to implement the laws? Dapat po ay may sakop na.
Okay. We'll do that,
Anyway,
Mr. President.
it should be covered. Anyway, I also was able to pass the bill as principal author, RA 11228, providing for the mandatory field health coverage for all PWDs. Ako po'y principal author nito in 2019. sa third term. Kasi I remember my laws and my bills based on my term. Newborn screening, first term with Dr. Flavier. Newborn hearing screening, second term, 207, past 209. Charlotte Chong, Dr. Chong was the one who drafted it for me. Now, on my third term, ito po yung providing mandatory PhilHealth coverage for all PWDs. So, kung ang PWD ay covered po ng PhilHealth, dapat yung pag-monitor or prevention sa pagka-PWD sa screening ay masakop din.
Yes.
So it should be covered by 11228, that's Republic Act, right?
Yes.
Do you
Mr.
agree?
President, I do agree.
I would not readily accept the answer if I may say this, that DOH does not implement the newborn hearing screening and the newborn screening. Baka naman kanilang ini-implement ito. Thank you, Senator Risa, is feeding me the information. Newborn screening is implemented according to this information in both public and private hospitals in the Philippines as a national public health program mandated by Newborn Screening Act of 204. I'm glad. But sometimes, nakalagay lang to sa Wikipedia, Google, etc. sa impormasyon. Pero hindi talaga ginagawa ng PhilHealth. Pero sabi dito, covered daw ang newborn screening. It's a covered benefit under the newborn care
Covered but
package.
not being implemented, Mr. President. I believe.
Information, perhaps the Senator Pia Cayetano can enlighten us
Yes.
on this, because based on my information, they do that for newborn, premature born babies.
Dapat lahat
Doon
po.
ginagawa sa ang hearing and screening mandatory.
Yes.
For
So,
premature born babies. I don't know.
premature lang. It's supposed to cover all. Yes, Senator Pia Cayetano.
Senator Cayetano,
I
you're
hope you can
recognized.
help us with this.
A little bit of history also. Senator Lauren, we didn't know each other yet then, but my dad was your colleague in the Senate, and I gave birth to a child with rare disease. And so Dr. Menchit Padilla, who was
Menchit.
lobbying for that bill, told me about it because she was my geneticist when we discovered that my child would be born with a rare disease called trisomy 13. So anyway, when I became a senator, because the law had already passed, I became very active in helping all the rare diseases. We have a new law, the rare disease law, which
Yes.
supports that.
Yes.
And I can inform the body that we provide funding to, it's through UP Manila National Institute of Health, NIH, no? We've continued funding the clinics that I think they're like pilot clinics that train all, the goal is to train all doctors to recommend newborn screening and to have the ability to spot potential rare diseases. And even without that, if they have the newborn screening, it will filter and recognize many, but it will not cover all because there are so many rare diseases, Mr. President. So bottom line is, it is a DOH item. I recalled in the past that we put funding because it was discussed. So I remember funding 22, 23, 24, and I'm double checking for 20.
I hope it's covered in the
2026. It should be,
budget.
because
It should be.
normally it would be highlighted to me as the in charge of their budget if hindi na tuloy yung funding. So alam ko tuloy-tuloy ang funding non. And then I also want to respond to Her Honor and for the benefit of the sponsor that as for the newborn hearing,
screening.
I also recommended the budget for that. I'm just checking now if it was carried by the Finance Committee. But because I remember asking, why, bakit nasa UP to? Because UP is the one implementing the newborn hearing screening.
Yes.
So I'm just
I'll
checking
answer
if
your
it was
question, why
carried.
is it in UP? Because this bill was initiated by Dr. Charlotte Chong and the draft was
Of UP
given.
Manila.
And they have, in UPPGH, they established the HERE Institute. It's another bill that Dr. Flavier and I authored. So there's a standalone, supposedly, HERE Institute in UPPGH. But I'm grateful for your answer. However,
So
I
may,
do
may
not
I just clarify
Yes.
for the information of the body? So
Yes.
this is not a PhilHealth initiative. It's DOH.
Yes.
Because this is like immunization. It is not PhilHealth. It's DOH. So DOH is the one that has the funding. I'm checking if there's enough funding. They're the ones who are going to implement this. Hindi to kailangan na maging PhilHealth benefit kasi kasama to dun sa health programs na nire-roll out ng DOH.
Therefore, if there is no funding from DOH, if it is not in their NEP or adjusted, there is no newborn screening. It should be, because it's mandated by law. But as we know, laws in this country are merely recommendations. But again, based on a 2019 law, which I principally authored, I mandated all PWDs to be covered by PhilHealth. This is a preventive measure to monitor possible disability. So it must be covered by PhilHealth. So,
Mr. President,
yes,
baka sige. Okay.
sponsor.
Not only that, ang isa pang nakita kong problema, yung mga nanay na buntis, na mga mahihirap,
Yes.
wala silang kakayahan, wala silang pera na para magpa-check up kung kumusta na po yung binubuntis nila. Yung early intervention ba, malalaman agad na, yung bata mo, yung anak mo, may problema. Pag pinanganak yan, ito yung mangyayari sa kanya. So these parents, this parent o mother na mahirap, na hindi nakapunta sa mga center, o minsan lang pupunta sa mga center, at ang susunod na punta, pag nanganak na, wala silang kakayahan kasi para ipa-check up yung kanilang pagbubuntis, and then pag sila nanganak, pupunta na doon sa hilot para doon manganak, hindi supposed to sa hospital. At kapag sa hospital, doon papasok yung sinasabi nyo, kunan ng blood test para ma-check kung meron bang problema yung bata. So, paano na yung mga bata na pinanganak sa
Covered.
pinanganak sa mga padrona?
Yes.
Pi- pinama-
So, my question is, ito ba ho, dapat po, sa aking kaalaman, dahil batas po ito na mula 204, dapat po yan sakop sa pribado o sa pampubliko dahil mandated po ng lahat ng newborn, hindi lang premature, ay tinuturukan.
So dapat
in the
meron
first-
tayong monitoring system
Yes,
from now on.
24 to 72
We make
hours.
sure na that is being implemented.
Opo. Tapos doon makita yung dugo, ito okay po. Ito ay may possibility para maagapan ng magulang kung may kakayanan, kung hindi, tulungan. Diba?
So titingnan po natin sa mga bill ng mga mother ng pinanganak
Yes.
na nanganak.
We can ask.
No, kung kasama doon sa bill yung, kasi covered yan, di ba, ng PhilHealth, yung screening ng mga bata, yung blood
Ay,
test to make...
No,
Actually,
sir.
hindi
Di
po
ba,
kailangan.
in-explain ko nga, no,
Hindi
na
kailangan
it is a
covered.
DOH program. It is not
Okay.
PhilHealth. So by law, this should be available in all hospitals. And I'm just checking what is the budget. Kasi the initial budget that was requested, I don't know how many years ago, was to train the doctors and the technicians who will be conducting the newborn screening. So the idea was lahat ng public hospitals natin and even clinics would be able to implement the newborn screening. So I'm just checking now if the budget is sufficient to ensure that lahat ng public hospital can provide for newborn screening. Kasi kung tatanungin niyo ako, pati LGU hospitals, kasi nga that's the first line. But also to address His Honor's concern, lahat din po ng buntis, pwede rin ho pumunta kahit ho sa health center. So kung meron tayong report na hindi nakakapagbigay ng prenatal support, sabihin sa atin, masumbong natin sa DOH because matagal na hong program yon. All of them have access. And those who are even part of the 4Ps, then they even will get 350 na we reported to the body yesterday that the chairman of the Committee on Finance and I both supported a 900 million peso increase so that the 4Ps beneficiaries will now get 700 pesos a month instead of the 350 precisely to support the first 1,000 days. And kasama sa first 1,000 days yung 9 months na pagbubuntis. And included din doon specifically ang newborn screening if is indicated. Hindi mo matatanggap yung 4Ps mo. Pag let's say tinatanggap mo yung 4Ps benefit mo 350, buntis ka, tapos nanganak ka, hindi mo pina-newborn screening. Ano yun? liability mo yon, because these are remember the 4-piece law is put into place, the program is put into place to incentivize behavior. And the behavior we want to incentivize is that mothers bring their infants and themselves to a healthcare professional and then later on bring them to school. So health and education. Kaya kasama yon.
So, conceptually, yes, everything looks good, but we want to make sure that LGU hospitals and DOH retained hospitals and all others do this actually, because it's a DOH mandate, because it's a 21-year-old law. And so I wanted to put that on record. Pero isa lang po yan sa maraming maaring kapansanan, no? Disability ng ating mga anak at mga bata. And I join you in asking for more government support and for a strong oversight function on the implementation of already existing laws.
Thank you, Sen. Lauren.
At
Thank you, Sen.
siguro po, if I may, dahil galing po kayo sa media,
Pareho po tayo.
importante po,
Pareho tayo.
oo, tayo po, ay importante rin sa komunikasyon ay ang pag-handle po ng communications tungkol sa persons with disability, yung tamang language, tamang pagtrato, both physically in the newsroom or even how they convey it on mainstream media and in social media with due respect, just like the LGBT community, the PWD as well should be treated with respect and with a correct language. Should be part of a communications plan, let's say of PCO, for example.
I agree, Mr.
Yes.
President.
So
Thank you.
I thank Senator Pia Cayetano for assuring us that the newborn screening is being implemented by DOH. We will follow up with DOH itself if indeed they are fulfilling their mandated duty. I am grateful to the sponsor, Senator Tulfo.
Me as well, I would like to thank Senator Pia Cayetano. Nung marinig ko yung Project Aruga, nagulat ako kasi hindi ko talaga alam yung sabi ko napakandang programa. That's why I have this privileged speech dahil doon sa nakuha kong informasyon sa kanya doon sa Project Aruga during the budget deliberation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Napakagandang
Thank you very
programa.
much.
Kailan lang
Ay-
ma-enhance.
Can I continue? Just because I'm already standing, but there might be a list, so I don't want to get in the way of anyone else. Or ituloy ko na lang, okay lang ba?
Yes, please finish your intervention.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very quickly, because I was monitoring as I was on my way here. Thank you for the very topic that's very close to my heart. I'm always happy when I hear that there are other colleagues who have a heart for those with disabilities. As I said, I had a child with a disability, a very severe disability, and he did not live. He did not even live to his first birthday. That's why this is really my passion and my. Actually, I probably became a senator because of that child of mine. So having said that, I just want to be clearer in my response on the DOH role and PhilHealth. So the role of DOH, which was the part I got involved with in the funding, was really to train the doctors, the health workers to ensure that the newborns have newborn screening, no? And to facilitate the establishment of these newborn screening facilities in key areas. That is the role of DOH. That is the budget that I said that I recall that consistently I see we have. But as I said, that is to establish those centers. So currently those centers are in, the response given to me is major hospitals. So sabi ko, sino yung major hospitals na yun? Because they cannot even tell us that it is all hospitals. But having said that, if it is not, so for the benefit of the public that His Honor would probably like to share with his viewers, if it is not in a major hospital near you, then you can go to any hospital, including that major hospital, including a private hospital, and there is a PhilHealth coverage of 2,950 pesos that will pay for the newborn screening. But if you are a PPP 4-piece beneficiary, then covered na yon, tama ba? Then covered na yon. So anyway, thank you for this topic kasi yung sagot din na nakukuha natin comes in trickle. So O, nag-increase na pala. Hindi na pala 2,950. It's now 5,752. So I will tie this up into the ZBB. So supposedly, kahit na 2,000 pa yung bigay ng PhilHealth o 5,000, if the ZBB will be implemented, the zero balance billing, then that means wala na silang babayaran na balanse. Which goes back to what I will raise during the period of amendment na siguraduhin natin na may pondo ang PhilHealth pambayad ng lahat ng sinasabi natin na pasok sa ZBB. So thank you for bringing this up, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Pia.
I thank Senator Pia Cayetano for that. As I said, we can all do our audits on the ground. I'm checking now with Angel Salazar Hospital in San Jose Antique. I'll check with other hospitals whether they actually do this. Number one, DOH must do it because it's a 21-year-old law. Number two, PhilHealth must cover it because of zero balance billing and because a 2019 law mandated the coverage of all PWDs. And I think if you extend the interpretation of that law, it should include the prevention or knowing ahead of time of a possible disability. I'm grateful to your honors for bringing this to the plenary today, and rest assured of our continuing monitoring and support for our persons with disability. And thank you to Senator Risa Ontiveros for giving me the notes I needed.
Assessment.
Mr. President, before we recognize
Mr.
our
President,
other colleagues.
Just last point, just to inform the body also, because the sponsor of this privilege speech is very interested. The SWD has another program. It's called DARE. It's the Development, Assessment, Rehabilitation, and Empowerment Caravan. They go all over the country with all kinds of the different professionals, specifically to target the special needs of in different families.
Thank you. That was mentioned in my privilege speech earlier. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Pia.
Mr. President, before we recognize Senator Risa Ontiveros to interpolate, we'd just like to acknowledge some guests in the gallery, Mr. President. We have with us our distinguished colleague from the House of Representatives, Congressman Carlo Oyo Uy of the 1st District of Davao del Norte. And we also have a poet, fictionist, translator, and filmmaker, Christian Cordero, and Karina Bolasco, Director of Ateneo de Manila University Press, guest of Senator Lauren Legarda. So, Mr. President, I move that we
Welcome
recognize...
the guests to the Senate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I move that we recognize Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Senator Risa Ontiveros is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. President. Just a point of information to add to the discussions between the good gentleman from Isabela and the good gentlewomen from Antique and Taguig and Pateros respectively, para po sa kabatiran ng ating mga kababayang mga magulang, mga malapit ng mga anak, at mabalitaan, marinig po itong pag-uusap natin tungkol sa newborn screening. So dagdag na impormasyon lamang, the newborn screening for certain diseases is funded by PhilHealth. So particularly po merong basic NBS or newborn screening panel tests para sa congenital hypothyroidism, congenital adrenal hyperplasia, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency o G6PD, galactosemia o GAL, at saka phenylketonuria or PKU. And recently, Mr. President, in-expand po ng PhilHealth ang coverage nila sa newborn screening para sa mga posibleng medical conditions ng ating mga baby. So now, the expanded newborn screening test na covered po ng PhilHealth will also be able to detect endocrine, amino, and fatty acid disorders, organic acid, urea cycle defect, cystic fibrosis, hemoglobinopathies, biotinidase deficiency, and other disorders. So, dagdag na point of information lamang po, Mr. President, good gentleman.
If I may add, Mr. President,
Salamat po.
not only treatment that do we need to get focused on, but also research and studies needed para ma-address itong proper care and proper treatment for children with disabilities. Yan po siguro isa pa sa pagtutunan ko na pag gumawa ko ng bill, bukod sa budget, of course, dapat magkaroon ng budget pertaining to that. But also very important is yung budget na pupunta, malaking chunk of that budget should go to studies and research on the proper treatment and care for children with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. May we recognize also our distinguished colleague from Tarlac and Pampanga, Senator Rodante Marcoleta.
Senator Dante Marcoleta, short list. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President. Mr. President, meron po tayong batas, itong Republic Act 11650, na kung tawagin po natin ay Act Instituting a Policy of Inclusion and Services for Learners with Disabilities in support of inclusive education. Sangayon po sa Section 13 itong batas na ito, Mr. President, ito po ay naglalaman ng program support budget na kung babasahin po natin ay ganito po ang nakasulat dito: to ensure the institutionalization of services for learners with disabilities, a PSB, meaning to say program support budget for learners, shall be included as a line item in the general appropriations of the DepEd. I'd like to find out, Mr. President, dito po sa ating pinag-uusapan o kinukonsider na 2026 budget, particularly on DepEd, meron po bang line item ang PSB, Mr. President? Sangayon po sa itinatakda ng batas na ito.
I'm gonna look into it, Mr. President. Right now, I'm not aware of that line item in our NEP, Mr. President, but I'll going to look into it, Mr. President.
Kasi po, Mr. President, napansin ng representasyon na ito na meron po tayong budget for learning materials for learners with disabilities, pero wala pong specific line item allocation, halimbawa, doon sa child fine system. Ito po ay napaka-importante, Mr. President, kasi kung wala naman itong child fine system, hindi rin po natin malulocate o ma-identify kung ilan po yung mga mag-aaral natin na merong disabilities sa buong bansa, kung nasa ang eskwela po sila. At hindi rin po natin malalaman kung ilan ang mga naka-enroll sa mga eskwelahan. So mahihirapan po tayo kahit na alam natin na napaka-importanting masuportahan po natin lahat. Ngunit kung hindi naman po natin alam kung sino-sino sila at kung nasaan sila, sapagkat wala nga pong line item na nakalagay sa budget, ito naman po itinatadhana ng batas, mahihirapan po tayo, Mr. President. This representation tried since last week to inquire from the LBRMO kung talaga pong nakapaglagay ang DepEd ng line item ayon po sa itinatadhana ng batas. Ngunit hanggang ngayon po ay mukhang sila'y nahihirapan din na tingnan mula sa DepEd. Parang wala nga po, Mr. President.
Mr. President, meron po. Ito pala, DepEd budget 100 million pesos for 2026 sa NEP, Provision of Learning Resources for Learners with Disabilities.
Sa NEP po yun na Mr. President. Kung titignan po ninyo sa HGAB na wala po yun, yun po yung hinahanap natin.
Ayun, na magic.
At ang nakikita po nating malinaw, materialis po for learners for disabilities. Maliwanag po yun. Ngunit kung ang pag-uusapan natin para malocate po natin, nasaan po lahat ang mga mag-aaral po nating may disabilities, wala po tayong magagamit na pantustos dyan sapagkat wala po yung child fine system. Hindi lamang po yun, Mr. President, Sana'y nagkakamali po ako, pero wala rin po yung hiring of specialists for diagnosis and assessment of LWDs and the prescription of appropriate intervention. Sana nagkakamali din po ako, Mr. President, na wala din po yung to defray expenses in the delivery of related services stated in Section 4P. Ito nga po yung sa transportation and various developmental, corrective and other support services for student with disabilities. Mr. President, kung wala po ang line item na ito na napaka-importante, kahit na po magsama-sama tayong lahat dito, ipahayag natin ang ating interes na tulungan ang ating mga mag-aaral na may disabilities, ngunit may kakulangan po sapagkat na maring kaligtaan po. Napaka-importante po ng line item na ito. Mr. President, kaya ko lamang po sinubukan na maalaman talaga. Sana po ay makita na po natin. Kahit na po tapos na yung individual amendments, Mr. President, siguro po ay ang representasyong ito isusulat sa ating chairman para sa ganon makahanap pa po tayo ng fiscal space. Nakita ko po kasi yung opisina po ng PCO na nagka-doble-doble po yung paglalagay po nila ng gastusin tungkol sa pag-host natin ng ASEAN. Binabalak ko po na meron po akong dinrap na sulat, baka sakaling doon po natin makita. Kung sakasakaling ito pong tatlong items na ito ay talagang hindi na ilagay na line item sa ating GAA na kinukonsider for 2026, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank the Senator from Tarlac for raising that issue, and I promise, Mr. President, to my colleagues that after this, I would confer with the Chairman, Committee Chair sa Public Health at saka sa DSWD as well as Finance Committee Chair para pag-usapan ito yung mga budget na karapat-dapat para matugunan itong mga pinag-usapan natin dito. Tulad sinabi nga ni Senator Marcoleta na walang saysay itong pinag-usapan natin para tayo susuporta dito sa mga magagandang programa natin pamalaan kung nawawala naman daw yung budget at wala naman daw sa NEP, if correct me if I'm wrong. So that has to be addressed right away. Thank you for that, for being a keen observant on that matter, the good senator from Tarlac. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that the speech of the gentleman from Isabela and Davao, Senator Tulfo, together with all the interpellations, be referred to the Committee on Health and Demography.
So referred.
Oh, same topic, Mr. President. So I move. Withdraw my motion, Mr. President, so that the good Senate President may also weigh in on the.
No, in fact, Mr. President, I was going to support your motion, but I wanted to know where you would want to refer the speech of the gentleman, Senator Tulfo.
It was to the Committee on Health and Demography, sir.
Okay, because
Would you want an additional reference
yes, Mr.
or
President,
referral?
I filed Senate Bill 194. It was last July. This is an act recognizing difference in neurodevelopment, upholding the rights of neurodivergent people, and instituting a national care and support plan for neurodiversity. Now, it was referred to the Committee on Social Justice and the Committee on Health secondarily. So may I know if that is the proper thing to do on this particular speech? Would it be health or social justice first?
May I ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President, just to make sure we check the rules.
suspended.
For discussion with the Senate President, his bill was referred to the Committee on Social Justice. Usually, social justice, you discuss reforms, programs for the indigent patients, yung mga programs in DSWD, yan yung factor dyan. On the bill of the Senate President, Mr. President, it has a big health component. So maybe we'll just reverse the referral. So I move, Mr. President, with the permission of the body, that the bill of Senator our Senate President, Tito Soto, be referred to the Committee on Health and Demography as well as
Primarily.
Social Justice, as the
Primarily.
primary committee is Health and Demography.
Secondarily,
And secondarily is the Committee on Social Justice.
An objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And at the
Then-
same time, what we
Yeah.
can do also, Mr. President, is
Privilege
that
speech.
the privilege speech and all the interpellators or the interpellations be placed primarily the Committee on Health and Demography as well as secondarily to the Committee on Social Justice. I so move, Mr. President. I so move, Mr. President.
Approved.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. President, we'll take up the bill of Senator Bama, but I think mag-interpolate yata si Senator Pino. Si ma'am na lang po natin. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we
Sandali lang.
Mr. President, I move that we consider Senate Bill number 1482 under Committee Report number 6. This is the Classroom Building Acceleration Program. I so move, Mr. President.
1482? Or 18?
Yes,
What did you
the
say?
first item on our agenda for interpellation, Senate Bill number 1482, Mr. President.
1482. All right. Any objection? Hearing none. Approved.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize the sponsor of the measure, Senator Bam Aquino, our distinguished colleague from Tarlac and the Republic of the Philippines, and to interpolate is our distinguished Senate President Pro Tem, Senator Panfilo Lacson.
Senator Bam Aquino is recognized as sponsor, and to interpolate the President Pro Tem, Senator Ping Lacson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the distinguished sponsor of this measure yield the floor to this representation for a few clarificatory questions?
I would be very honored, Mr. President.
Thank you. At the outset, Mr. President, it goes without saying that this representation is fully supportive of your honor's initiative, no, to accelerate the construction of classrooms and school buildings. However, there are some issues that need to be resolved or at least clarify with the end in view of making sure that once enacted into law, the measure will truly serve its purpose and not end up as a dead letter law.
Yes, Mr.
Maraming issues po rito. First off, Mr. President, under Section 3 of Senate Bill 1482, yung civil society organization or CSO refers to a non-state, non-profit association that works to improve society and the human condition. The basic types of which include non-government organizations, civic organizations, cooperative social movements, professional groups, and business groups. No, I think you called this provision under Section 3 from the DILG Memorandum Circular, no, 2025-050, kasi parang verbatim. Ano? However, under the new Government Procurement Act or Republic Act 12009, CSOs or People's Organization, POs, are to be invited as observers throughout all the procurement process. However, non-government organizations are allowed to participate in negotiated procurement, no, when an appropriation law or ordinance earmarks an amount to be specifically contracted out to non-government organizations. There goes a problem, Mr. President. Kasi kung i-involve natin ng mga CSOs sa construction ng buildings, ano, one way or the other, directly or indirectly, at na-interchange natin yung definition ng non-government organization with CSOs, baka magnapolis tayo rito.
Okay.
So how do we resolve this issue, Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. President, maybe to give a background why we included CSOs. During our hearings, nalaman ho natin that our CSOs like Hope Foundation, Angat Buhay, the Chinese Chamber were actually building classrooms at a much cheaper rate than DPWH. At maganda naman po yung kanilang nagawa. In fact, through different senators here, marami rin pong nasuportahan dyan in the past who were able to complete classrooms. In fact, I found out recently that there's one NGO, I think, that has made more classrooms than DPWH. So what we included, Mr. President, is we included CSOs with track record in school building para masigurado na wala pong fly-by-night NGOs or CSOs ang masasama dito. We also included that DepEd will come out with their own guidelines with regard to which CSOs can participate in the classroom building program, Mr. President.
And even NGOs, provided that they will not be allowed to participate in biddings. No? Because as I understand, Mr. President, yung participation ng NGOs at saka CSOs, limitado sa mga free, di ba? Pero kung gagamit ng public funds, then i-involve natin yung participation ng NGOs, and they will be allowed to participate in biddings, no? In the construction of the school buildings and classrooms. Medyo may problema tayo. Kasi merong conflict of interest.
What is the conflict of interest, Mr. President?
Because if we involve the NGOs,
Yes.
and they will participate in the biddings, and they will actively participate in the monitoring, etc., nandun ang conflict of interest.
Mr. President.
So probably, pwede tayo maglagay ng caveat, ano?
Yes.
Na provided that they will not
Monitor themselves.
monitor themselves.
Yes, exactly, Mr. President.
Yeah, yun anyway, at the proper time, maybe we can use the proper language
Yes.
to clarify that particular issue.
Yes, Mr. President.
But I have
Definitely.
no objection to allowing NGOs to be active partners in the school building program of the government.
In fact, Mr. President, I think Senator Marcos also wrote us with similar concerns. And we can work with your offices to propose the proper language to have a tighter definition at the proper time, Mr. President.
Now, let's run some numbers, Mr. President. For the period 2022, or i-move na lang natin a little further, 2020 hanggang 2025. Ang total na appropriations para sa school building, yung BFF, yung facilities fund, Basic Education Facilities Fund.
Yes, Mr.
Umabot
President.
na siya ng 91 billion 279 million pesos, more or less. So, ang na-construct na classrooms during the same period, para apples to apples, 2022 to 2025.
Yes, Mr. President.
Ang total number of classrooms, 14,005. Kasama dito yung not yet started, NYS. Pag binilang lang natin yung completed sa ongoing, 7,172 yung completed, ongoing 4,962. For a total of 12,132 classrooms. Ang average space or land area needed to construct one classroom is 63 square meters. Okay. If we multiply 12,132 sa 63 square meters, ang lalabasan dyan is 882,315 square meters, or 88.2 hectares. Gusto ko lang pong ibangga doon sa so far appropriated or yung na-utilized sa construction ng classrooms, which is huge, 91. Please correct me if I'm wrong, baka mali yung computation ko.
Yes, Mr. President.
Kasi kung gano'n ang numbers na nakikita natin, meron tayong nagagastos na sa 12,132 na 36.396 billion. Ang total amount na do sa BEFF, Basic Education Facilities Fund, 2022 to hanggang 2025, 91.279 billion. So kung 36 billion lamang yung nagagawa at saka ongoing, meron tayong unspent fund in the amount of 54.883 billion. May I know the status of the 54.883 billion, Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. President, we'll have to check that status, kung ano pong nangyari dun sa perang yan in 2022, 2023, and 2024. But for 2025, Mr. President, yung completion po ng DPWH is really only at 60. In fact, our numbers, Mr. President, is much lower than your numbers. in terms of completed classrooms. Kung yung pondo po na hindi nagamit ay napunta po sa savings or na-realign, we'll have to check that. But for 2025, they will definitely not meet what was allocated to them. In fact, napakalayo po, Mr. President. And what we understand to be the reason for this backlog is because only DPWH was allowed to build classrooms in the period that you had mentioned. From 2022 to 2025, only DPWH can build classrooms for the Department of Education, Mr. President. Kaya primarily, yung bill po natin, tinatanggal po sa DPWH yung responsibilidad na gumawa ng classrooms at kinakalat po natin sa mas maraming local government units and participating non-government organizations. So primarily, Mr. President, the reason why we're pushing for this bill is because we feel that DPWH, as seen by the numbers that you have stated, cannot really implement the needs of our country nor of our children. Now, with regard, Mr. President, to the 2025 budget, pwede pa po yung ma-realign, pwede pa po yan magamit because the year is not done. But for 2022 to 2024, Mr. President, we can check now kung saan po napunta po yung hindi nagamit na pondo.
I have the breakdown, and you're correct, kasi pag completed school buildings or classrooms ang pinag-uusapan, nasa 7,172 lang. Kasi
Even
yung
lower, Mr.
4,960, yun yung ongoing. Kaya ang aking total, 12,132. Yung not yet started, yung 1,873. Now, ang breakdown, tama po kayo, 2025, ang completed, ito lang eh.
Mr. President,
As of October 31, 2025.
well, we have the
Maybe mas
latest.
update.
Yes,
Okay.
our latest numbers is 60, Mr. President.
60 from 7 as of October 31.
Yes, Mr. President.
All right. Ongoing 423. Nabawasan siguro sa datos ninyo yung ongoing.
Mr. President, 60 ang completed, may ongoing, but the target was actually much bigger than the ongoing. So meaning, based on target, malayo pa rin yun, Mr. President. Even if they finish the ongoing, malayo pa rin yun sa target po, Mr. President.
And that's the intent of this bill para ma-accelerate.
Yes, Mr. President.
Yeah. So, ang isang related question is, yung DepEd po ba mayroong technical and financial capability to properly evaluate the CSOs that will be tapped? Or will DepEd hire additional engineering and audit personnel to manage and monitor these projects?
Mr. President, according to DepEd, and we've met with them numerous times, that they can manage this. In fact, they recently had a classroom.
On their own?
Yes, Mr. President. They had a classroom summit where they discussed the plans to build more classrooms with the private sector, with LGUs, with NGOs, Mr. President. And we've aligned with them at lumalabas naman po na handa po sila dito po sa challenge na ito.
Meron na ba silang initial inventory ng mga CSOs that will be tapped for the purpose?
Wala pa, Mr. President. Not for this. They have a list of partners that have been raising funds on their own and donating classrooms to DepEd. Pero yung magpa-participate po dito sa CAP bill, wala pa po because we don't know which of those NGOs will participate in this CAP bill.
But more or less they have an idea,
Yes, Mr. President.
and they have already identified the possible CSOs and, as you said, even NGOs to participate.
Iba, Mr. President, because some of these NGOs, and I've spoken to some of them, they're wary of accepting government funds also. So many of them would prefer to just keep on using the donations that they have or their CSR if they're connected to a large company to fund the classrooms. So far, Mr. President, dahil wala pa naman po yung batas, wala pa pong nag-signify na nais nilang mag-participate po dito sa bill po natin.
Okay, since LGUs will also be tapped or will get involved, meron na ba tayong identified na LGUs na nakapag-construct na ng classrooms? Do you have the data on how many classrooms these LGUs have already built?
Yes, Mr. President, we have actually reached out to LMP, LCP, League of Provinces. We were able to get some of their data. We can share this with you, Mr. President. There's one particular best case, which is the one in Iloilo, Mr. President, that was done with Synergia Foundation. And they were able to show that even to the barangay level, kaya po mag-build ng classrooms. In fact, ang kwento po dyan, Mr. President, at the barangay level, talagang inlagaan yung classroom kasi yung mga gumagawa ng classroom kasama po ng mga barangay officials, mga anak nila mismo at ako ang nag-a-attend dun po sa school site na yon, no? So, there are cases, Mr. President, where LGUs have successfully been able to do this in a faster rate and at a cheaper price, Mr. President.
At what cost, Mr. President? Compared to the standard, because we asked DPWH,
Yes.
ang standard cost nila is 3 million pesos per classroom.
Yes, Mr. President.
More or less. So, at what cost yung mga LGUs na nag-construct ng cheaper or more expensive?
Definitely cheaper, Mr. President.
By how much, Mr. President?
So, if I may explain, Mr. President, in our hearings, lumalabas si DPWH nasa 3.5 million pesos, no? Yung kanilang classroom. Anywhere from...
This is including tables and chairs?
Hindi po. Wala pa
Wala
po
pa.
furniture ito. So that's about
So
3.5
nag-overprice
million.
na naman yung DPWH kasi yung standard. We asked Yusek Bernardo eh.
Okay.
3 million per classroom, not including tables and
Yes.
chairs, just the structure. Sabi niya 3 million. Pero sa actual pala, 3.5.
Well, Mr. President, it's on the record in our hearings na 3.5 million siya. Roughly 3.5 million.
While the LGUs
The
could
LGUs, Mr.
construct
President.
the one classroom
Low of 1.5 and high of 2 million. So
with the help
syempre-
of CSOs,
No, Mr. President, on their own.
standalone.
And then the CSOs, Mr. President, anywhere from 800,000 to 1.2, 1.3 million. Now, yung pinagkaiba nun, Mr. President, the CSOs, they don't charge a margin, no? Yung contractors, wala pong margin yan. And they're able to get some support here and there. So, bumababa po talaga yung cost. Yung LGUs naman, Mr. President, yung mga nakausap po namin at nahingan po namin ng kanilang datos, ranges from 1.5 to 2 million, Mr. President. So, what we've done, roughly, Mr. President, is that we've also capped the cost of the classrooms in our bill. And it's roughly about 1.8 million here, Mr. President, as a price ceiling. So, ibig sabihin, Mr. President, pwede pong mag-propose ng mas mababa doon, pero hindi pwede mag-propose ng mas mataas po doon. Now, naaral po ito ng aming komite. We were able to get support from different architects groups, different quantity surveyor organizations, Mr. President, pati rin po yung mga submissions ng LMP, LCP, and the NGOs. And recently, Mr. President, during the classroom summit of DepEd, nagbigay na rin po sila ng 28,000 pesos per square meter na price cap. No? And we intend, Mr. President, at the right time to adopt that price ceiling in our bill. Currently, ang computation po namin is 28,500. No? Ang nabigay po ng DepEd recently, 2 weeks ago sa kanilang classroom summit, was 28,000. So nag-usap na po kami that we will just adopt that standard with the bill. So we will propose an amendment. And DPWH originally was at 55,000 pesos per square meter. So this is about half the price of DPWH, Mr. President. At uulitin ko po, this is a price cap. No? So meaning, kung kayo po'y nasa sentro, nasa syudad, nasa malapit na lugar, you can of course bid for lower, no, or propose a lower amount. But you cannot propose a higher amount than 28,000 per square meter, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you for the response. Ano nangyari na dun? Yung last mile schools program ng DepEd, this
Opo.
was, I think, initiated a few years back. Will this be absorbed by the CAP?
Yes, Mr. President. And in the law or in the bill, we included a 20% buffer for areas which are further out or which may need higher logistical costs, Mr. President, to the discretion of DepEd.
Okay, and lastly, Mr. President, how do we resolve the issue of the availability of land?
Yes, Mr.
Kasi
President.
during the past, even during the past budget hearings, ito yung laging dinadaing ng DepEd. No?
Well, Mr.
Walang
President.
lupa because ang requirement ng COA, kailan titled.
Yes, Mr.
So
President.
how do we resolve that issue? Kasi it will be a
Recurring.
recurring issue. Kasi
So-
kung kailangan ng title and most of our real estate properties, especially in the provinces, mga tax deck eh.
Opo. 3 things, Mr. President. Unang-una, napakarami po nating condemned classrooms na hindi po ginagamit. So once a classroom hits 50 years, condemned na po yan. Hindi na po pwedeng gamitin. So in some of the schools na puntahan po natin, kalahati ng classroom hindi po ginagamit. Ginagawang bodega or hindi man lang ginagamit kasi hindi na po pwede yung mga bata dun sa mga classroom na yan. Some of these classrooms were for replacement 5-10 years ago and they're still not being replaced, Mr. President. So unang-una,
And these are covered by deeds of donation already. Property tanto ng DepEd.
the schools are currently there, Mr. President. No? Hindi po ito bagong lupa. Yung iba po may deed of donation, yung iba may tax deck, at yung iba po may titulo.
Sino po yung may-ari ng mga lupa na kinatitirikan ng mga school buildings na condemned?
Still the same po, Mr.
Private
President.
owners or?
It's the same, Mr. President. Pareho pa rin. So these are current campuses, Mr. President. So may nakatayo na po diyang mga eskwelahan, no? So in short, Mr. President, wala naman pong bagong lupa na kinukuha yung programa o yung DepEd. It's just a matter of tearing down the very old classrooms and building there para magamit na po siya. So that's the first, Mr.
Yeah.
President.
Yeah, Mr. President, I remember when I was in the primary school, elementary.
Opo.
Yung aming classroom, silong ng bahay ng principal.
Opo. Mr. President.
So how do we resolve kung halimbawa, yes, merong building nakakonstruct sa lupa na siguro hindi na rin alam ng DepEd kung sino may-ari ng lupa. What if the owner, the real owner or the legal owner suddenly comes out and reclaim the piece of land that he owns? Kasi nakaugalian na lang sa probinsya na okay, natayo ng school building o ng classroom, hindi na kumibo yung may-ari.
Yes, Mr. President.
For some reason. But kung condemned at papatayo ng panibagong building, siyempre necessarily kukuha ng building permit.
Yes.
Biglang lumabas yung may-ari, kiklaim niya. That's another issue, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President. But, Mr. President, the gap is so huge. Napakalaki, Mr. President, na yung napondohan po natin is not even a fourth of the classroom needs. So, definitely, Mr. President, uunahin natin yung mga shovel-ready. For the first year, and I'm guessing, ang prediction ko po, for the first 3 years, we will be able to work very fast in the areas na handa na po. Kaya mahalaga po yung kahandaan. That's actually we put that in the bill as one of the main standards for choosing a site, no? Dapat handa na po siya. Meaning lahat ng mga problemang ganyan po naka-resolve na. But with regard to the land, Mr. President, so unang-una, yung condemned nandiyan na, pwede pong gumawa ng bago. Yung pangalawa is to go vertical, no? And do a second or a third or a
But
fourth floor.
that's not addressing the issue that I raised. What if the owner of the land where the
Yes, Mr. President.
condemned classroom or school building sits, biglang lumabas, oy, akin yung lupa na yan. Hindi ko na kayo pinapayagan na mag-construct. How do we resolve that issue?
Mr. President, this is where the LGU comes in, Mr. President.
Babrasuhin ng LGU.
Well, kakausapin po ng maayos, no? But I have visited some schools na yung pamilya po na may-ari, nag-aaway sila. Kaya
Correct.
nakatenga. Pero,
Especially heirs, ha?
yes, Mr.
Remember,
President.
pag namatay yung original owner, kailangan pang mag-extrajudicial settlement. At minsan umaabot sa mga apo. Ang daming pipirma dyan.
I'm aware, Mr. President. But the truth is, Mr.
I'm just
President.
anticipating all these issues.
Yes.
I'm not really opposing
Yes, Mr. President.
this measure. In
But,
fact, sabi ko nga, I'm fully supportive.
Opo.
Kaya lang, baka mag-crop up yung mga problema na hindi na-expect, saka pa lang tayo mag-cure, late na tayo.
Mr. President, with how big this problem is, ang tingin ko po, all of those with problems, we can move them down to next year. Unahin na muna natin yung mga ready to build na po at handa na. And to be fair, Mr. President, since we've been working with LCP and LMP here, nagsasabit naman po sila ng mga schools na handa na po talaga. And we do check kung maayos po yung titulo, merong deed of donation. Definitely, Mr. President, up to the first 2 or 3 years, we will have enough schools na wala pong problema na pwede tayo mag-build. And in the meantime, our LGUs and DepEd can work on securing these necessary approvals, Mr. President.
So with the help of the LGUs, assuming na naipas na natin itong
Opo.
batas, with the help of the LGUs, CSOs, etc., in 3 years, ano po yung in-anticipate nating number of classrooms na maitatayo?
Mr. President, the last time po tayo nag-privilege speech, we talked about finishing this problem in 6 years, no? At 6 years, we need to spend about 90 billion pesos every year for 6 years at a price cap of 1.8 million pesos per classroom. So roughly, Mr. President, that's about 39,000, no? Specifically, 39,000 classrooms per year to finish it within 6 years.
Will that be enough to close the gap, or
It will close the gap, Mr. President. It also addresses buffer for classrooms destroyed by natural calamities. The increases every year because of population. So naka-factor in yan, Mr. President. It's about 39,000 classrooms per year for 6 years. Now, Mr. President, what we've budgeted for this year will only cover roughly about 30,000 classrooms, Mr. President. But because we are doing new modalities and DepEd will do a PPP hopefully by next year, we can test different modalities, Mr. President, kung ano po yung pinaka-successful, and we can fund the successful modalities more as the years go on, Mr. President. But definitely, yung modality na DPWH, hindi na po pwede talagang doon tayo nakasandal. Kasi for the past 3 years, Mr. President, as you've said, hindi talaga gumagana yung gawa po ng DPWH ang classrooms po natin.
I'm just thinking ahead, Mr. President, kasi I'd rather avoid these problems or at least preempt the problems to occur rather than,
Yes,
that's
Mr.
exactly
President.
my point. That's why I want to anticipate all these problems para in the future, hindi lang ma-close yung gap, kundi baka catch up tayo talaga doon sa required. Remember, population is growing also.
Yes, Mr. President.
May catch up, may catch up pa rin na gagawin dyan with the growing population.
Mr. President, in fairness naman po to DepEd rin, no? They also understand that we need to push for different modalities. This is one modality. Previously po kasi, it was just one. DPWH lang po yung gumagawa ng classroom. And that led to only 60 classrooms being finished for this year, no? So what are the different modalities, Mr. President? LGUs, CSOs, but obviously the LGUs will be a much bigger share there. And then yung PPP, Mr. President, similar to what was done during the Aquino administration, where we had the biggest classroom building in our history, if I'm not mistaken, no? They plan to do that, Mr. President, and it's just taking them a little time. In fact, we intend to have a hearing about this in January para malaman ho natin why it's taking a little bit more time than expected. But what we imagine, Mr. President, is that we will exercise oversight to make sure that every year we're hitting our targets at nakikita po natin ano yung modality na pinaka-successful dito po sa ating sa intention po ng ating batas, no? And from there, we will work with the Chairman of Finance to really fund ano po yung pinakamainam na modality. Right now, ako po, I'm proposing working with LGUs as the alternative to just leaving it up to DPWH. And simply put, Mr. President, kung noon, parang nakacentralize yung ating mga efforts, with working with more LGUs and more partners, parang dinidecentralize po natin yung effort natin. At sana po, sabay-sabay talaga gagawa yung iba't ibang partners po.
Will DPWH be completely out of this program?
No, Mr. President. Sa pag-uusap po namin with DepEd, they will still allocate budget for DPWH because Secretary Dizon has spoken to DepEd and said that they want to, with a renewed effort and better systems, they want to engage again. And sabi ko naman, Mr. President, if they do want to engage, pwede, but we should put a price cap. Kung may price cap po tayo na 1.8 million, dapat lahat ng modality, ganun din po yung presyo or lower.
Again, I'll go back to past budget hearings. Magulo yung merong pondo per classroom construction sa DPWH, may pondo rin sa DepEd. So,
Mr. President, I would be happy with an amendment stating that the price cap is across all classroom building programs, Mr. President.
That's good to know, Mr. President. And by the way, Secretary Dizon is only good up to 2028, I suppose, I assume.
Yes, Mr. President.
What if it's the opposite of a Secretary Dizon that will take over? We'll have another problem.
Ako, Mr. President, we will try different modalities for this year. We will monitor it and we will make sure po na nagagawa siya. And then, the modality that works the best, yun po yung pondohan natin. Basta meron tayong budget para po dito for 6 years. No? That's really my goal because, Mr. President, ako Ako, honestly, I think it was mismanaged in the past 3 years. No? DPWH really mismanaged this.
Everything.
Everything po. Napupondohan yung mga flood control, yung classroom na pinaka-basic sa ating bansa, hindi po napupondohan. And to have accomplishments of 30, 40, 60 a year is simply unacceptable. Kaya po, dito po tayo pupunta. But I will give it to the new DPWH. I know that they're trying their best to reform. Baka naman po, pwede pa sila mag-reform. We can see if they can...
Hopefully, Mr. President.
Hopefully. But Mr. President, kung di nila magagawa, pondohan natin yung maayos. No? And personally, I will put my... I will bet on this horse, Mr. President, more than putting it just in one agency.
Yes, at the proper time, during the period of amendments, will you be open to some suggestions like use of prop, tax incentive for landowners or even or building owners who may want to lease portion of their property under a tax incentive scheme or arrangement?
Yes, Mr. President. In fact,
Kasi problema talaga natin dito, lupa.
Opo. We're prepared with an amendment, Mr. President, allowing for lease and for outright purchase of buildings.
Even use of prop, Mr. President.
Which we already introduced in the special provisions for the GAA. We will also move to include that in the bill, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate President is leaving at 5 o'clock, so I have to take over.
Thank you very much, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. The session is suspended.
I move that we suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 1482. So moved.
Is there an objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 1425 under Committee Report number 3. This is the Aklan Piña Conservation Innovation Center, the Municipality of Calibo, Aklan, and recognize the sponsor, Senator Lauren Legarda, to no longer manifest. Kung pwede, Mr.
Is there an objection? Hearing none, Senator Legarda is recognized to sponsor by
The measure has been sponsored, Mr. President.
Yes, there's just a manifestation from Senator Joel Villanueva.
Senator Joel Villanueva is recognized for his very short manifestation.
I was about to give a manifestation, Mr. President, but if I'm being pressured by the majority leader to just give a very short, then I will ask some questions. But this is just to put on record, Mr. President, that this representation is one of the authors of this measure, and I'm glad that my colleagues, not just from the majority but also from the minority, are very supportive of this measure. It was actually last Congress, Mr. President, when we started pushing for this particular measure, and I myself was a living testimony of what our kababayans in Aklan are doing. This representation actually as a living witness, Mr. President, of this particular industry, and we're very supportive of it. And we congratulate the author for this measure, and again, put into the records of this August Chamber my support for the measure. Thank you, Mr. President, and no member of the minority would ask any more questions, Mr. President.
We appreciate your comments. Thank you very much. When you were Majority Leader, Mr. President, this was passed on third reading already. In the previous Congress, this was passed on third reading. So the fact that I had to go through it again, and I assume nobody would want to ask about Piña, but if you want a lecture on Piña, I can give you a lecture on another date. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, maybe on another time, Mr. President, the gentle lady could come up with a privileged speech on Piña on another time.
For your
Mr.
information,
President.
that's a UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage.
I know, Mr. President. This is a very important measure being pushed by the champion of culture and arts of the Senate, Senator Legarda. Mr. President, there being no other member who wishes to interpolate the measure, I move to close the period of interpolation.
Is there an objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Bukas na sabi. Bukas na?
2 pages lang, oh. Tanong ko, Joel.
Yes, the good sponsor, Mr. President, is asking me if we can open the period of amendment, but I
It's
think
only
the
3
agreement by the
pages.
minority was just close the period of interpellation and tomorrow
Yeah.
the period of amendment. My
I,
apologies. to the
I heard
sponsor.
the comment of the
Yeah.
minority
And
leader.
I don't want to pick a fight with the minority at this point in time. So, Mr. President, I move that, did I suspend already? I move to suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 1425. I so move.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we consider Senate Bill number 1507 under Committee Report number 11. It's an act institutionalizing schools of living traditions. And the sponsor is Senator Laura Legarda. And there are no other members who wish to interpolate the measure. I move that we, it's the schools of living traditions. Schools of living traditions.
I can also
Senator
give you a lecture one day.
Estrada.
Um,
Maybe you can have a side meeting with the good
Yes.
sponsor.
This is very important, Mr. President, because the schools of living tradition are sources of livelihood of our indigenous peoples and other of our kababayans in the rural areas. And we've been doing this work with the NCCA who are present here today. And if my dear colleagues would want to be briefed on the SLTs, I would be more than happy to have a session on the schools of living tradition with audiovisual presentation.
Actually, Mr. President, in Bukidnon, we do have schools of living traditions there. The Manobos, the Landigs, the Matigsalog, they have these schools. So we're just, I think you're institutionalizing, the lady senator and chairperson is just institutionalizing these schools. So, Mr. President, with no further interpolation, I move to close the period of interpolation.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
I move that we suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 1507 and take it up again tomorrow. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
With that, Mr. President, I move that we suspend session
Until
up to until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Tuesday. 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, Thursday, December
4.
4, Mr. President,
Yeah.
2020.
Any objection? Hearing none, session is suspended until 3 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, December 4, 2025.
Yes, Mr. President. Thank you very
Session
much.
suspended.